Hi, I'm Tim Mitchell from Fixed Pedalboards. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our accessory line. Take for example this pedal riser. It's designed to elevate the pedals on the back side of your pedal board so you have easy foot access to them without interfering with the pedals that are lower that will be in front of it. Not only are these designed to elevate your pedals, but they're also spaced so most modern power supplies will fit underneath. So when these are mounted on your board, you won't lose any real estate. There's access points here to get cabling in and out. And on some of our smaller ones, the height was determined by making sure you could get any of the most popular patch cables underneath it. So it makes wiring up your board that much simpler. Another idea that we had in mind with our pedal risers is to make them so they can be used on any type of pedal board, not just ours. For example, this modern pedal board, they will work just fine on. This traditional wooden style pedal board, you can mount them on no problem. Or you could skip the headache altogether and put them on a fixed pedal board where they absolutely work the best. All of our risers also come with this drill template that's made out of steel, not paper. You can use it many, many times before it wears out. And that way, if you need to reconfigure your board or if you upgrade to a different board, you still have the template to move your pedal riser around. Our pedal risers come with pretty much everything you need to mount it on your board. But you are going to need a drill motor, the proper drill bit, which will be indicated in the instruction manual depending on what type of board you're going to be drilling into. Also, you're going to need some duct tape. Basically, any type of tape will work, but we prefer duct tape because it doesn't tend to leave as much residue on your board. Of course, the template and hardware, and most importantly, a screwdriver. You do not want to use a screw gun to mount these because it's very easy to strip them, especially with modern screwdrivers as screw guns because they're super powerful. Step one, take your template and place it where you want it on your board. And take a piece of duct tape and put it on just like so. You don't have to completely cover it, but just enough to keep it snug because you don't want it to spin when you're marking your board for the holes that you have to drill. What's really important is when you're marking it, do not drill all the way through the template. Just give it a little zap with the drill bit on the template. And what you're doing is you're marking the surface of the pedal board with the exact hole locations to drill the holes all the way through. Carefully remove your duct tape and your template. Now once you have your holes marked, take your drill bit and drill it all the way through. Try and be as perpendicular as you can to your board so that the screws go in as straight as possible. If you don't know how to use a drill motor, don't try and do it based on what you're watching in the video. Get some help because there are some safety factors involved with using any kind of power equipment. Clean off your board surface. Next, take your riser that you're mounting and set it over the freshly drilled holes. They should line up perfectly if you use the template correctly. Then take your hardware. For this board, it's a wood board, so I'm using the wood screws that are included with the kit, and start them in the hole just by hand. And again, I know I said it earlier, but do not use a screw gun for this because more than likely you are going to strip out your board and your holes will be no good. You'll have to start over. Okay, once you start your screws, take your screwdriver and you'll notice that there's holes on the top of the riser, so you have a direct access to screw these in with your screwdriver. Again, using all the correct tools, this is a very easy job to do. After you tighten your 4 screws down, make sure everything's secure, and voila, that's it. You have mounted your pedal riser. Mounting your pedal riser on an aluminum board is a little bit different procedure than on a wooden board. For starters, if you're using a fixed pedal board like this one, you're going to want to take the cable tray or rail off the bottom of it. Anyone who has one of our boards knows that that's just the turning of 4 screws, and away we go. Now the locating part, that's pretty much the same. Like for example, you still want to take your template and your duct tape, figure out where you want to put your riser on your board, Take some duct tape, hold it down the same. Again, you don't have to cover it on there, but you do want enough on there that it won't try and spin as you're marking your board. And also too, be very careful that when you're putting your duct tape on, that you don't rotate your template at all, because that will create a crooked riser when you're done. Again, do not drill through, just take your drill bit and mark the board. Again, as always, be as gentle as you can, because even though these are metal, they do bend, and you do want to be able to use them over and over again. This is also very important. If you don't take the chips off from when you marked your board, when you set your riser on top of it, it's going to scratch your board. Next, we need to finish drilling the holes through the surface of your pedal board. Okay, after you drill your holes through the top of your pedal board, check the bottom, make sure you don't have too big of a burr underneath, because if the burr's too big, you won't be able to start the nut on the bottom of it, and if the burr's sharp, you can cut your finger on it. Just like the wood board, take your riser, place it over the holes you just drilled. It should match perfect. Now, mounting the riser, once you have the holes drilled, is pretty much the same as on the wood board, with the exception is you have instead of just a screw, you have a screw and a nut. You don't have to start the screw, you just put the screw through the hole on the riser and the hole on the bottom of the board. You flip the board carefully so the screw doesn't fall out. I like to put my hand on it to hold it, and then start the nuts to the screw on the bottom. Once you get all of the screws through the riser and into the board, and the nuts started on the back of it, then all you have to do is tighten it up. You'll notice on the top of the riser, there's 4 holes, just like on the last riser we put in. For the screwdriver to go through the hole, take a 3/8 end wrench, tighten it, and bing, bang, boom, there you go. Your riser is mounted.